episode of Cooking with Kimmy. Today we're gonna be making a recipe for Arroz Con Leche. So this recipe is for a baked rice pudding or an arroz con leche. I don't know how to pronounce these words. People keep making me pronounce things like that and buñuelos. It's gonna come together really easily. You're gonna see that most of the time you spend making this recipe is hands off. What we're gonna do is just show you again some tips and tricks to get the recipe perfect every time, and we hope you guys follow along and make this at home. So here we have our ingredients for our rice pudding, and as you can see, it's very minimal. It comes together with 6 ingredients. So here we have our evaporated milk and our whole milk. Here's our rice, sugar, and our flavorings. Today I'm going to be using some vanilla extract and some cinnamon. Cinnamon is probably like the most traditional flavoring for this particular dish. But you can use any kind of flavoring you want. You can even put like whole spices like cinnamon sticks or cardamom pods if you have those. You could even put cocoa powder and make this like a chocolate one. But here I'm showing you just the very basic rice pudding that you can kind of make your own however you want to make it. So this recipe is so easy that we're actually gonna start mixing everything together in the container or the casserole or the dish that we're gonna bake the whole thing in. So you just wanna make sure you get an oven-safe dish that's big enough to hold all of your ingredients. And here I just have a butter wrapper. You just wanna butter the dish well. You can use oil or butter. You just wanna make sure you get it all up the sides so that the rice pudding is easy to scoop out later on and isn't so hard to take out of the container. So here I have our dish well buttered on all sides. Woohoo. So first things first, you want to preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Because all of this gets mixed together pretty quickly, you want to make sure you get your oven preheated as the very first thing, even before you do all the butter stuff. Sorry. So now here's our buttered dish and our 6 ingredients, and I'm just gonna mix them together in an order that I remembered. Oh, right, okay. So you want to do all your liquids and all your seasonings first. So here I have our evaporated milk, our sugar, our cinnamon, and our vanilla. And so the first thing you want to do is mix all of these together. The reason why we do all these ingredients first before the rice, so that the cinnamon is well distributed and the sugar starts to dissolve before we put in the rice, which means every piece of rice will be coated evenly in the flavorings and the milks and the sugars. So I'm just gonna give this a rough whisk. Might not mix in completely, and that's fine. You just wanna give it a head start. Once it's roughly whisked together, we'll just put in our rice in an even layer. So I like to just kind of sprinkle it over. And then I'm just gonna give it one final mix together. And that is it. What? No way, crazy. So this is it. The rest of this recipe is pretty hands-off. We're gonna put the container into the oven, our preheated 300-degree oven, for a total of 2 hours. After the first 30 minutes, we're gonna take it out and stir it, and then put it back in and let it cook for an extra hour to an hour and a half until the rice is completely tender. The reason why we mix it after the first 30 minutes is just so that the rice can start evenly absorbing all of that liquid. And after that first initial mix, you don't have to mix it at all until the end. And we'll show you how that looks like. So come back in a second. Bye. So after the first 30 minutes, it's not gonna look like much has happened at all, but you want to give it a stir at this point because the rice is already starting to absorb the liquid. And after the first 30 minutes, it's sort of caked onto the bottom of the dish. So you just want to give it a stir, make the rice a little bit loose so that it can easily absorb the rest of the liquid for the next hour to an hour and a half that it's gonna be in the oven. So our rice pudding has been in the oven for a total of about 2 hours. As you can see here, it forms this really nice golden, like deeply golden brown skin on top. If you didn't want this on your rice pudding, after the stirring at 30 minutes, cover it with foil and let it go for the hour and a half covered, and it won't form the skin on top. But I find that the texture is really nice. It gives kind of like a nice flavor to the rice pudding, and it is more traditional to have the skin on top. Traditional baked rice pudding would normally have the skin. You either love it or hate it, but I suggest that you give it a try. It's really yummy. Okay, so I'm just gonna scoop into it and show you guys how it looks like inside. You can crack through the skin and the rice should be perfectly cooked. You don't want it to be runny, so the rice should have absorbed all the liquid, but it should be nice and creamy. Oh, there, as you can see, the rice has absorbed all the liquid, but it's nice and creamy. It's brown from the cinnamon and the vanilla and the flavoring that we put in there. And that's pretty much it. It's really nice with cold, heavy cream, just poured on top like a sauce, or just straight up as it is. I'm gonna try it. Oh my god. So it has a really nice, strong cinnamon flavor. The rice is perfectly creamy and perfectly cooked. And the skin on top just gives it a nice little texture, a little bit chewy. It's nice and sweet. It's a really easy recipe to make. As you can see, it came together in no time at all. Most of the time it's really hands-off. So it's a perfect like breakfast dish or a dessert that you can make for a lot of people in a short amount of time. So we hope you guys make this at home and try our recipe. If you guys do, tag us in the comments or tag us in your photos. Like and subscribe to all our videos and our channels, and we hope to see you guys next time. Enjoy! Bye!